what's the dream? Like, why do you do this, Pamela?
I want to get a lot of people. I want to be able, my team and I want to be able to help a lot of people be financially free. And I think that's not really talked about a lot. There are people who have started, focusing on financial literacy, but we still see people who don't actually understand what it means to be financially free, or, are not just financially literate. And my goal is to help. I love what I do. I love helping people. I love making sure that, they're well informed, financially or in any capacity, basically. And that's the goal, to be able to say, yes, I contributed to this person's experience, which is amazing. So that is one of the reasons why, I actually started Advice Now.
And were you surprised, like when I started doing my studies to be an investment advisor way back when, I was quite shocked, like how, it's not too hard to understand. They make it hard with the jargon, but like if you get it, like you're like, wait, my life can be pretty well sorted if I can save a little bit into an investment at least. So
Yes.
what were you shocked about when you first started learning or going to people about it and they didn't know it?
Every little counts. I think that's important. Also with the fact that human beings naturally like the instant gratification, but, investing is more long term, so as little as $10, $20, $100 will go a long way. And I think that was where myself in particular, being able to do that and then watch my investment grow, my return on investment, that really gave me the perspective I needed, because it was never really taught per se. I knew about it, but I didn't really put much emphasis on it until I personally started doing it. And I think that just gave me a really good perspective on, oh wow, this is something, people can actually do, and it will just make their life better. And a perfect example of this is like with a mortgage, right? Just by increasing your mortgage by a little bit can help you pay your mortgage faster. So just little things. And people are actually not, some people are actually not aware of this. And that's why, they do need that financial literacy. That's why they do need people like us to help them get there. So I think that was just it for me.
So paying the mortgage thing, because, you see these ads like we can, pay down, we've got the secrets where like I get the whole, like if you do more payments per year, like if you pay weekly or fortnightly, it's better than monthly. Like I get that part because you make more payments. I don't get the whole, like you put something in a revolving credit loan that sort of that, like you keep the interest not on that because it's sitting there or whatever, or you can use it to pay different things. So where are people going wrong with their mortgages?
So I think it's all about how you structure. So when you get those ads that say, we know the secret of, pay your mortgage faster, it's just basically how you structure. So like with an offset account, with the offset accounts for, let's say if you have a savings of $10,000 and it's in a savings account, maybe it can either be your parents' savings account or your kid's saving account. You can actually link it to your mortgage, and then you're not paying interest on that $10,000. So basically, you're saving on interest as well. The revolving credit, because the interest rate is, calculated daily, you putting in your salary into the account also helps. So structures like this, and then paying, just like I said, adding little extra on your repayment goes a long way, because that shaves out part of your loan term. And that's what we need people to, get to, shaving off your loan term. And that's why you get those ads saying, we can help you. We know the secret, or we have the secret to help you save maybe 7 years off your mortgage. It's just those little things as your structure, including more, a little bit more in terms of your repayments. Those little things actually do help. So that's the secret. It's out.
Oh no, you heard it here first. So is that always the case for people? Like, I guess the fixed term, like it's budgeting. You like, how much money And also you might be the type of person that isn't good at having access to this revolving credit and go shopping and waste all this money. Like, how do you determine what the right way to structure a mortgage is for a person?
So I think, it's also understanding the kind of person you or the kind of client you have. What can they give and what can they give up? So I help clients with budgeting as well. And budgeting can be quite interesting because you then have some clients that don't want to give up certain things because of, like I said, instant gratification. It's all about discipline, right? What is your goal? You have to understand the why, and then the why will make it easier for you to do the how, right? So if the why is to truly shave off those years of your mortgage, you would have to mentally reprogram your mind to do the how, and if the how is rather than going to get a coffee 5 times in a week, you streamline that to maybe 3 or 4 times a week or something. You just have to give something to get something, right? Opportunity cost.
I'll be interested on the behavior side. Like, I look at a lot of things like conditioning. Like, one of the things I hate doing is cold calling people. And I know if I do that 40 times a day, my business gets bigger. So what I do is I do 10 cold calls, go for a walk, maybe have a coffee, celebrate the incremental inputs that I do. What do you think about in terms of behavioral? Because I think most people's financial woes isn't just a lack of education. It's also changing their behavior. So have you ever sort of thought about how you present the plan that leads to them sticking to it, or how to support them in paying their mortgage down? Like, what's helped you behaviorally?
Behavioral, the behavior is quite important. I think for me, the way I see it is not judging. I had a client whom I actually assisted with budgeting, and what her feedback was that I never judged her, regardless of how much she was spending or how much debt she had. I never judged her. And I think sometimes we're humans, we tend to judge, and letting your client know that this is a safe space. You can tell me what you need to tell me, and I wouldn't judge you, and then from that point of view, clients can then be able to freely be vulnerable to actually share their financial woes, as you put it. And just me saying, okay, I'm going to hold you through this process. I'm going to be your accountability person or friend. Don't make it too serious. People tend not to like things too serious. Casual, because that's the Kiwi way. So just making it fun. And your mind doesn't see that something too serious that I start getting anxious about it. Just you as a financial advisor, you also need to check your behavior, because that would then reflect on your client's, mindset as well, or behavior. So you want to be calm. You want to ensure that you are not judgy. You want to ensure that you are basically letting them know that they can trust you. Trust is really, really important. And I guess you'll be fine after that.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like, I find most things that you regret doing is an attempt to fill some void. Like, whether it's substance, whether it's buying something for shopping, you're trying to fill some internal void, or like fashion is a way to express yourself to the world.
Yeah, creativity. Exactly.
Creativity. So what has sort of helped you on your financial journey? Like, do you have like a smile account, or how have you sort of made iterations in your life to be financially free?
So I think diversifying, not diversity. Diversifying is the key. So I have different accounts, and I personalize it based on what I want that account to do for me. So if it's a savings account, it could be for shopping or groceries. I name it that, and then I funnel funds into that account. If it's for shopping, because every girl loves to shop, I try as much as possible to, also funnel funds into it, but not as much because I know I have a goal. My goal is to be financially free, and not spend as much. So everything is just basically labeling the account and ensuring that you are, disciplined to follow what you've actually set up. And there are times while you will, mess up, once in a while, and that's okay. That's okay. Because if you're too hard on yourself, then it ruins the whole purpose of it. It's not fun anymore. And when something is not fun, you tend to start slowly, just missing the whole purpose. And you don't want that, right? So I try to make it fun. I have a shopping account. I have a travel account. And then I have my main investments account where I know, okay, I have to do it regardless of whatever. If I don't, I can actually forgo not putting money in my shopping account, but for the investment account, I have to. That's just a given because yes, I want to have fun, but I also like to make money as well. So, and financial planning is just key. It's just how you plan yourself, being disciplined, and you'll be fine.
And do you have any advice for, let's say, those husbands out there? They've got a wife that loves to shop, and you don't want to be cheap. You don't want to be like, "Hey, honey, like, can you like dial back? You've got 10 hats this week. Like, can we maybe do 6?" How would you go about approaching that conversation without, leading to divorce?
Well, I think before you married her, you already knew she loved to shop, right? So it's a behavior that has been already created by this woman that you love. And it's going to be honest, it's going to be quite hard to change. But what you can do is rather than immediately trying to put a stop to that behavior, you slowly do it. Rather than going to get a Hermes, you could go for a cheaper bag, rather than it's just you're still shopping, but on a budget, a cheaper way of doing it. And it's also how you present it to your wife or to your spouse. Presentation matters. Sometimes people think women are shallow. To be honest, no, we're very easy, easy to please. That's how I see it. And it's how you present yourself, how you show the joy you show in actually letting your wife or your spouse know that, see, I know you love this. However, this is what we can afford at the time. It doesn't mean I'll not get you what you need, at a future date, but for now, this is what we can afford, and make it fun, and she'll be fine. That's how I see it. Planning is key. Financial planning is key, honestly.
Interesting. What does like shopping mean to you? Because I hear on I need to take more pride in the way I present myself. I've been told that. So I'm slowly making change. I managed to get a haircut and whatnot. But what does shopping mean to you? Like, what is it? Is it a form of self-expression? Like, or is it, because you mentioned you have a shopping account. You might not be buying clothes. You might be buying something else. But yeah, what does shopping mean to you?
I think it's just a way for me to just relax the stress.
Cool.
So I shop for a lot of things. I'm not particular. I do love perfumes a lot, and watches. Um, and there are other things that I like to buy, but I know at the back of my mind that I need to be sensible when shopping. So I prefer online shopping actually to go into a store. And what I do is when I know that I've hit my budget or my max, I just do window shopping online. So I go to a site, add all the items to the cart and look at it and stare and stare and stare and just close the laptop. I'm like, okay, I'm all right. I'm all right. Because like I said, it's just a way for me to relax. And if I can add all those things to my, my cart, it just feels like I'm purchasing it. And then when I'm done, rather than check out, I'll just close my laptop. I'm all good. So it's just relaxing for me, to be honest. It's just like watching a movie. I use it to just relax. And my husband actually was shopping more than me. Yeah, so you can imagine. But we're grateful that we're both financially sensible to know when to shop and when not to shop as well.
Yeah. Okay. Well, taking out the shopping thing, then. So, what was it like when you first started your business? Did you like deliberated it on for 2 years, being afraid that can I take this leap myself? And then was it really easy from day one? How did it go?
So to be honest, so my background has always been banking in New Zealand, right? And I've worked for 3 New Zealand bank up until leadership, and I've always wondered, there are times where I try to help someone in some cases, and because of a certain criteria, bank policy, I'm unable to do it. And I'm like, why can't I give my clients the option that I want to be able to give them? And I started thinking about it. I started thinking about what does it mean having my, being a financial advisor, having my own company, running my own company, and being able to give this limitation that I'm having right now, being able to offer it with variety of options. And that was what, my husband and I, we were talking. We like talking about, our future and how we can plan for our future. So we're like, what does it mean to actually, start a business, and having the right support team basically helped. We, the, while I was doing my level 5, I think I came up with my name, and my business name, and then advice now came up from me and my husband looking for a name, and it being catchy but also self-explanatory as well. And yeah, that was how we decided, okay, we're gonna start this company, and we're gonna be great doing it because we're helping people and we're just making people well informed. There's no limitation. I have access to over 30 lenders. So it was a great experience going through that. And yeah, here I am today with my business, my team supporting me. And it's just been good. It's been good.
Yeah, it's smooth sailing. Business is really easy. What was your like day one? So day one, you got qualified. You can start doing things. Did you start going through all your friends' contacts, calling them up? Hey, do you want a mortgage? Like, what did you actually?
So that's quite interesting. The thing I've realized is wherever I go, I make friends. Wherever I go, I make friends. Even while at the bank, So I have people who actually looked for me on LinkedIn and were like, we went to the bank, you were not there, and we went to look for you on LinkedIn, and they're like, we need you to help me with maybe a mortgage, So I have people reaching out to me, and even without me even making the efforts, at that time. I also reached out to friends. Okay, this is what I do now. I did social media posts, just letting everyone know that, see, I'm no longer in the banking sector, banking industry. I am now a financial advisor, and these are my services that I offer. And that's announcement on all platforms basically just kickstarted the whole incoming of leads and all that. So it was really good. My friends, of course, supported me. They have been wanting certain, services, and now I'm able to provide without limitation. So they were like first to sign off. And like I said, I had clients who had worked with before, and then they just reached out to me, and I was glad to still be able to assist them as well.
What have you learned? Because when I was an investment advisor, all my clients came from podcasting and TikTok, but it took like 2 years of me just posting 70 times a week, and I was like, because I wasn't very good at it. What have you sort of learned about marketing yourself and running ads and posting content? So how has your approach changed since you first started?
I think it's all about just being approachable, when that was quite interesting because when I wanted to start, I was like, oh, I need something, I need like a hook, or something that I would say that when you hear it, it's me talking, right? And we're in a digital age. I've listened to a lot of social media creators, and there was this lady. She is a chef, uh, back in Africa. She's a chef in Africa, but when she cooks, there's a sound that plays in the background. And every time I hear that sound, I know it's her. I know it's her. So, and then when she got so big, she changed it. And then one day, I think I was scrolling down Instagram and I heard that sound and I went thinking it was her, but it was someone else. But you see, my mind had been tuned into that or programmed into when you hear that sound, it's this person. So I wanted something like that. And I just decided it was going to be my introduction. Hi, it's your favorite girl, Pamela, your one-stop financial advisor. And then I had people who would see me and they were like, it's your favorite girl, Pamela, your one-stop financial advisor. It was just a surreal moment. Like, okay, people actually like that I say that, and when they see me, that's the first thing they open up with, so it was really a good experience. And I think that really helped. To be honest, anyone who says social media, creating videos is easy, it's not. Um, you have to keep getting used to it and keep training to be better. So that's basically how I started in the beginning, and consistency really matters, to be honest. And that's, those were the learning points from starting my, I guess, social media career.
Yeah. Well, it's weird. It's like soon you put a camera on, it's just you and the camera, but it feels like there's 100 people watching. Like you have that in the back of your head.
Yeah.
What sort of helped you get in the zone, like to not be weird and inauthentic, and you don't have to record 100 times to make one 30-second video?
My husband would say, keep it short and sweet. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I just like to talk, and see, people who will connect with you will connect with you. You are showing your authentic self, and how you choose to express it. There is always a niche, or there is always an audience for you, regardless, to be honest. So what I would even say to people who are looking to start, because I do get advisors who say, honestly, I love how you do videos on social media, and how do you do it? I said, to be honest, I sometimes don't enjoy it because it can be annoying, overthinking something and all that, but you just have to do it. You just have to not think about what people would say, and just think about what you want to share, what you want to, the information you want to pass out, how you want to educate, and just be you. Just think about you just talking to yourself in the mirror, and that's just it. You'll be fine.
Well, it makes sense. It's like, I sort of think like anything in life, it's consistency is king. So
Yeah, exactly.
if you enjoy recording, if you can do it in a way that you could sustain it for years with no progress, like you don't have it, nothing gets better, but you just do it because you love it, you're probably going to do well. But there's also, I don't know, his name's Rubio or something. He's got a big, long gray beard, and he helps like Jay-Z and Pharrell make music, and he curates the vibe and stuff. And he says when an artist fails is when they start making music for the audience instead of for themselves.
Exactly. It's all about being true to yourself. Why did you even start it in the first place? You wanted to show who you were. You wanted to show your creativity. You at that time you didn't have an audience, right? It was when you became a big sensation that you got an audience. So you don't have, because you can't please everybody, right? You have to please you. You have to do what's right by you. As long as you're doing everything right, then that's fine. So remain unique to yourself. Never lose sight of that. And people would always judge regardless. Social media is very interesting. There's nothing you do that is never judged. I think unless you're a dog, an animal, they never judge dogs. They're very cute. But, the thing is, when it comes to human beings, people have an opinion. Whatever you do, there is always an opinion. And sometimes when I read comments of, other people's social media, and I read their comments, and I'm like, okay, you can't win, so just be you. Be you.
Was there a point where you had horrible like comments and it got to you a little bit, and like what's your advice to deal with the haters,
Haters gonna hate.
Haters gonna hate.
So don't take it too seriously. You would have people that would say negative things about you. It's gonna hurt. I'm not saying it's not going to hurt. We are all humans. We have emotion. It's gonna hurt, but don't let it get to you. Don't let it define you. Remember your mission and remember your vision. Remember the why you're doing this, and when you are mentally prepared to always remember that, I think you'll be fine. So, and you even get to a point where your own community in the digital space would actually fight your battles. So you'll be fine. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's been interesting. Like I've turned a lot of haters into followers because there's two things. Either they're right or they're trying to be right. Like they're trying to be helpful. Hey,
Yeah.
you didn't do this well. Like one guy was saying like about me being fat, and I was like, oh yeah, well I am fat, so I lost some weight. So okay, well that's not necessarily hate. That's constructive feedback.
Feedback,
And
yeah.
and then the other one is they're in pain and they're projecting that pain onto you. So
Exactly.
when you ask them a question, they expect you to be reactive. But if I ask them, oh, what makes you feel that way? And then funnily enough, this guy was really hateful. He started sending me this big long email about all his ideas and like he's never had a chance where someone's actually taken interest in him and blah, blah, blah. So projection's a big thing and it's not necessarily your fault.
So as well, I had something similar. I think there was someone who have had quite interesting comments before on social
Yeah,
media.
what's your worst? What's the worst one that got you between the eyes?
It was really bad. It was more
Was it racist? Sure, have you got any racism yet?
No, not yet.
It's pretty good, yeah.
Which is good. I've had a lot of nasty. Can I suck your feet?
Oh, creeps. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. I've had a lot of those, which is annoying. There was one who literally said he was disabled, and I was feeling bad. I was like, okay, a vulnerable client. He reached out to me on WhatsApp, from maybe one of my ads or something, and I was like, okay, a vulnerable client. I got this. I was trying to be as professional but calm and just be respectful. And he was like, oh, I need to come to his house, and I'm like, no, why? And he's like, oh, I need to rub his back. He was just saying the nastiest things, and I was like, delete. Oh my God, so I've had a couple of creeps.
Okay.
And that's been terrible. So try to be wary, when you tell me, oh, you're beautiful. When that conversation is getting to that part, that aspect, I'm like, is there anything I can help you with? If not, have a wonderful day. And then I just end the conversation because, yeah.
Do you have any advice to young women? Because, I mean, unfortunately, I see that all the time, like LinkedIn posts of women saying, like, this isn't a dating site. Why are you jumping my DMs? And, like, you want to be a respected professional. And then also the safety side of things. What sort of helped you navigate that creepy man world?
Yeah, I think, you see this way, you are beautiful. And yes, someone has taken a liking to you, however, has done it in a very disrespectful way. So as a woman, how I would address it would be, thank you for your compliment, and then end the conversation. You don't even need to go further. You don't even need to give him the power to go further. You need to take on that power. It's yours. You have control over that conversation, not the other way around. And just let him know that, he can't dictate how you feel or how you react. End the conversation. Thank you. Be respectful as well. Thank you for your compliment, and end the conversation. If it's someone that has actually sent out a nasty compliment, then you just block immediately, because you can't keep saying you're going to respond to everybody that is disrespectful. You'll get tired, and emotionally it will drain you, emotionally and mentally. So you just want to make sure that for your own mental peace of mind, you're doing what's right for you, and just block where it needs to be blocked. Men, it's not just men, to be honest. Women sometimes might, do that as well. So I think we should also learn to be respectful of people's preference, people's personal space, the way people want to be addressed or talked to, So I think that is really, really important. But you can't change people's mind or people's attitude when it comes to certain things, so you just take on that power and block the person if need be.
It's interesting. It's probably not a fair comparison, but like in special forces, they would talk about, there's this guy, Jocko Willink, and he's like a leader of the special forces, and they would go out on patrol, and when they were active, they felt in power, they felt in control. When they were seeking the enemy, it was a different frame of mind, but when they were waiting and protecting, then the power was with the enemy. So it's almost like you were saying, it's interesting that you framed it, that you take control of the power in the conversation instead of letting them. Like, what sort of changed that for you over the years? Like, because I can imagine, you hear these stories of people in authoritative roles and you're worried about job security, or, you might need to pay the bills. So you might need this client. Like, what have you changed in your approach, or you're always just been that sort of?
I've always just been that way. I think it was also how I was brought up. My dad made me know that I can do anything, and he was able to provide for me in that aspect as well. So I never needed any I guess what's it called? My parents rather. I never needed any outside is it well, I'm trying to figure out the right word to use, but I was my own person. You understand? I was my own person. He made me understand that I was my own person. I had the power to control my own emotions. I had the power to control what happens around me as well. I never needed that, validation from anybody, and that was quite important. It built me to the woman that I am today. I'm a very strong woman, and I have a really great personality. Strong. People might say it's strong, but but I know who I am. I know what I stand for. I know my worth, and I think that has always helped me. So sometimes not everyone would agree with you because of your principles, because of how you've been raised, but it doesn't mean that I have to agree to something that is not right. So that has just been me. I don't need your validation to tell me that I'm doing something right, because I know I'm doing something right. Now, feedback is really good. I like that. I like feedback, but I'm not, if whether or not you give me feedback, I know I've done something right, and I think I'll be fine with that regardless.
And what do you sort of think? There's always like a barrier to the next stage. Like, for example, with me, initially it was self-worth, like feeling deserving of charging a certain price. And because I'm selling me now, not a product. And then the next thing is relinquishing control. So trusting in others so that you can build your team. What do you sort of think is the next shift that you need to get to take you to another level?
That's interesting. The issue of putting a price on what you offer, that's quite interesting, because there are times where I would want to do something just because I'm passionate about it, so I wouldn't charge you, and honestly, I think I had a really good conversation with my husband, and he put it into perspective. You are offering a service, right? That is going to change someone's mindset or change someone's life. Don't they think it's worth you being paid for? He kind of like made me put it in their shoes, right? You would want this person to be paid for the services rendered, right? So why wouldn't you charge? If they're not for you, they're not your clients. But you know your self-worth, and you know what you have to offer. So I think that was a really good turning point for me. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I don't have to do everything for free. I can do pro bono when I want to, but it shouldn't be like a given. So that was a really good one for me. And I think the next step would be just, continue scaling. That I think that's everyone's, well, that's most people's dream, to scale into a really successful business, and which would involve more delegation and all that. So that's where I see the next step for us at Advice now, my team and I.
I find that price thing's quite interesting. It's like
Yeah.
someone explained it to me and sort of helped me with it. It was like, if you don't charge enough, you're going to help less people. And the person's less invested. You know, like, have you ever seen
Yes.
someone leaves a table outside their house and they call it free? No one takes it. But you put a price on it, they steal it. Yeah. So they haven't invested in any way, so they don't value it. They're not going to try as hard as they could because they don't have enough skin in the game.
That's true.
So what's your plan to scale? What are you going to do? You're going to hustle and befriend a whole lot of accountants and lawyers, or what's going to be?
I always believe in partnership. I love partnering with people, and that's the goal. Partnering with professionals in the industry, not just my industry, in various industries, like you said, accountants, lawyers, my fellow mortgage and insurance or investment advisors. Partnering with clients as well. Feel free to refer me, and businesses as well. So I am open to partnership, meaningful partnership, and I think that would really help. And when I wanted to start, I had some advisors that wanted to start with me. I have decided to hold on that for now. That is something else I'm also going to be looking at doing, just to help with the scaling of the business. So yeah, partnership, really good.
Yeah, I always look at like befriending the fisherman. Every day you could get your own fish, or you could just find someone and be their friend, and then they'll give you fish. I always find the best way to get a referral is to give one.
Yeah, that works as well. And then the best way to get the way I say the best way to get a referral is leaving an impression. When you leave an impression, it's embedded in their mind. And it's also how you made them feel, right? And if you can make them feel that way, that's feeling is what they would take when they're talking to someone else. How you made them feel would be expressed when they are talking to someone else. So I think that's how I see it as well.
Makes sense. And we'll have random people walking by. Well, I'm just in the middle of the lounge. You're rolling with it.
It's part of the job.
Yeah, it's the growing the business from a living room approach.
Of course.
But it's interesting. It's kind of like, so I've been running ads for quite a while now, and the whole game is trust. It's kind of like, I used to think offer. I use this sort of example. I will give you $1 million tomorrow if you give me $10,000 today. Great offer. Would they believe me? Probably not. So the whole game is like, how do you condition someone to expect that when they pay money, they're going to get a good result? So that starts with like podcasts. Like, I could call up financial advisors and be like, hey, be my client. Or I could be like, hey, here's this free thing. We'll make a whole lot of videos. We'll advertise you online. There's no cost or anything. That leads to them thinking, okay, well, the next experience might be good. So how do you sort of think about with your advertising, what sort of helped you in the way that you approach marketing, and what have you sort of changed over the years?
So initially, I think I was doing more. It's been a mixture of different types of adverts. So I would have ads that didn't have my face on it. I would have ads that had my face on it. And some had worked, some hadn't. But I know the ones that people related more to was, me doing a video, or me just me doing a video and talking. That gets a lot of traction. So that was something I learned early on. And I decided so I still do the ads where, it's either a static video, static picture of something other than my face, but I'm giving a clear message on what the offer is. But the trust comes with, it's a human being. Sometimes seeing a human being, okay, do I like her? The first few seconds, you can just figure out, do I like her? Do I want to give her a try? Oh, she looks like me. She doesn't look like me. Okay, I think she'll understand me more. She wouldn't understand me more. So a video is a really good representation. And that's why I think I do more of that. So I do a mixture of everything for more of that. So that has been really helpful to the business as well. Yeah.
What have you learned about calling? Because calling leads where they're slightly interested in you, but not really. How's that changed?
Okay. Not a fan of cold calling, especially,
Yeah.
but I am you can hear my smile on the phone. That was a really good feedback someone actually gave me. And I'd never met that person.
Mm.
He was like, he could hear my smile on the phone, from the other end of the phone. And I think it's just being who you are. That's another thing, being who you are. I am quite friendly. Now, not everyone would gravitate towards that. I'm friendly when I need to be, but I get excited because I'm like, oh, I'm going to help someone new. Let's get to it. And then most times it works. And then when it doesn't work, you feel a bit down. So,
yeah, rejection. How do you deal with rejection though? Because that's why some of the best saleswomen I ever came across were incredibly naturally and communicating and having that smile tonality. But then when they started getting rejection, they weren't quite used to it, getting rejected by that much. Like, how's rejection? How do you deal with it?
I try to see like, okay, not right now. I don't see it as rejection. I'm like, not right now. Okay, it doesn't mean I'll still save your contact information. You might need me later and you never know. So I try to make it seem like to make it a positive rather than focusing on the negative, because when you do focus on the fact that you were rejected, honestly, you'll just go down. So so I just say, okay, it's all right. I do a lot of self-talk. And I am a very good reflector. So I would analyze things. I really like to analyze things. What could I have done better? What could I have not done better? But I tell myself, see, the person is not ready now. So that's why they said, I'm not interested. Or that's why I said, not at this stage. So that's how I just see it. And I move on to the next one. And when you keep getting rejection, you eventually get someone to say, yes, Pamela, I'll go with you. So have that can-do attitude.
How do you prepare yourself? Like, because, I do a lot of cold calling. I'm calling all the leads for the advisors. So I don't know I booked something like 500 appointments now.
Wow.
So you kind of like, you get used to
do it.
How do you do it? Well, there's a whole system. I can break it down. Now, but like, how do you get in the frame of mind of you're about to call them? You're like, oh my God, this human being, they don't know me. And like, how do you get into the smile frame of mind before a call?
I think I have to, be prepared, and that's just being in the right frame of mind. Because if you're not in the right frame of mind, I think that can also translate to, it can also translate in your conversation sometimes because your mind is distracted. And also practice, just practice, talk to yourself in the mirror. Okay. And then just be yourself, like I said, being true to yourself. So practicing, being in the right frame of mind to make the call. To be honest, like I said, I don't really enjoy calling, especially cold calling. It's different if you know the person or someone else that you've helped, had referred. But if it's like totally brand new, that one I really don't like. But I try as much as possible to prepare myself mentally on whatever objections or whatever may come my way. And, I start with not selling, just building the rapport. I think that's really important. Remember there was a lady that I called and she wanted to purchase a first home. And I think while I was talking, she didn't seem interested. And I heard her dog bark. And I was like, you have a dog. I love dogs. What breed is it? And she started opening up. and we were talking about the dog. Completely forgot what the reason. I didn't forget, but
She did.
it was at the back of my head. But like, I got her to a place where she was so comfortable, and then I chipped in. Oh yeah, really good, especially now that you're looking to purchase your first home. You need like a garden and all that. She's like, yeah, that's true. I'm like, well, I can help you with this. Yeah, and it was easy. It flowed naturally, because I was able to build that rapport. So just finding something, if it was someone you were seeing, it would just be a lovely compliment, Oh, you look nice, you smell nice, and all that. And then they drop their guard a little bit, So it's things like that.
So that's why you spend so much money on perfume. It's purely business. Not even on tax.
I just love to smell good.
Fair enough. Well, it's interesting. It's like people love buying, they don't like being sold to. And it's kind of like, if I always sort of think of it like be better than the last. So how is your competitors treating people? Which is, there's probably a brand around insurance, especially, that you just care about the commission. You're just going to be a high pressure salesperson, and that is probably not going to pay out. So in that first call, that's the whole game. By you being interested in her dog and her life and her, you're being better than the last.
Yeah, relationship first before advice. Yeah.
But on the advice front, what's your top financial freedom tips? So like insurance, mortgage, investment, what would you say if you're at a talk right now?
See insurance as an investment and not an expense. We can break that down in different ways. If you are diagnosed with, a medical condition and you are insured, that financially you are not liable because you've transferred that risk, right? I think a lot of people, because insurance to them is not an instant gratification, it becomes quite hard for people to see the importance of it. Or, it's an investment. And sometimes an investment takes a while on the ROI, the return on investment, right? And sometimes it could happen almost immediately. I had a friend who I spoke to her about insurance, and she initially didn't want it. But then finally she did, take it after much, much struggle, took it, and then she was diagnosed with something. So, she later told me that, honestly, you saved my life in terms of finances, because this would have been terrible. And then I have people that I've actually spoken to about insurance and didn't take it, and then they were diagnosed with something. And I feel really bad because I know I did my own part, but at the same time, you keep asking yourself, should I have done more? But there's only so much you can do. And then for the mortgage, like I said, every little counts, every little addition counts. So if you have extra $10 rather than putting it in getting coffee or something, just put it towards your mortgage. You never know how much you're going to shave off. Same with investments as well. If you are not sure about your Kiwi Saver is a perfect one. It's like a forced saving. You're forced to save with your Kiwi Saver. You don't touch it until you either withdraw it for your first home or retirement. So why not just increase your contribution by a little bit? You could get another income through another job, harness your skill. That would really help. I think that is something people sleep on. You don't harness your skill. And in this day and age, anything sells on social media. So look at, what's his name? Is it, I just forgot his name. The one who doesn't say anything on social media. He just does this.
Yeah, I know you mean the most followed TikToker. Yeah, I don't know his name though. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying to. I think it's Cabby. I think Cabby. So anything sells on social media. Find what you're good at and monetize it. That's another way of just getting side income for yourself. So it's all about building your investment, growing wealth. But also securing that wealth, securing your lifestyle, seeing things as an investment, seeing insurance as an investment and not an expense. And yeah, I think those are my tips. So
Well done. Well, you've done a podcast, so thanks for coming on.
thank you so much for having me, Ryan.
It's all right.